Okay, we're recording. Hello, this is the 17th of March, new contributor workshop, EU virtual contributor workshop, 2020 early planning meeting. Yeah, well, I haven't really got much on the agenda here, so I think we're gonna keep this meeting's probably going to be quite quick, so just updates. I'll go first. This week I finally sent out that poll to see everyone's availability on if they can still present or want to pre-record. Hopefully we'll get answers back on that by the end of this week. Does anyone else have updates?
I have questions. I'll let everybody else go first.
Okay.
I also have questions, but not updates.
Okay, this is good.
How about you, Nabaran?
Yeah, nothing from my side too.
All right. Question time.
Go ahead, Dawn.
I have kind of a broad question. Given that this is supposed to happen in less than 2 weeks, how ready do you feel for having a virtual new contributor workshop?
That was my question too.
Okay.
Because I talked. Go ahead.
Okay. My gut feeling, I feel like we need more time. There's just, I don't know if that's me being like really precautious, but when I look at like the calendar, I see we have a couple days in this week, we have next week and the week after, and we're supposed to be go. But given that we still have to, I feel, create a bit of content, practice and all that, I'm feeling kind of a bit nervous.
So do we know like definitively what you need to create?
Yes.
Do we know what you need to have presented, recorded? Do we know who we need for all those spots? And like, I know you put out the doodle yesterday, and I'm sure no one's responded to that yet because I did it last night and no one had. But maybe Dawn has. I don't know. But the thing that I'm getting at is, I feel like it's going to be a very small group of people actually presenting. And like one person, or they're recording on their own, right? Like if they're presenting, they're like live streaming and someone else is streaming with it, or we're recording it to do a virtual Q&A after, right? So in these next 2 weeks, I feel like we need to figure out, do we have all the content? Are we all going to do it live, right? Like, because I don't think that's feasible with the people we have signed up. And then how much of it do we need to pre-record, and when do we need to do that?
Yeah, I feel like I'm sort of in the space where I feel like we have not worked out any of the details, and that's harsh. We've worked out a lot of the details, but we haven't worked out the details of how we're going to transition this into a virtual event, and we're running out of time. And we want this to be sort of up to the Contributor Summit standards, I guess.
Yeah, like this is supposed to be reusable, right, Dawn? I mean, that was what we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, because I asked Chiefy this question actually last night about whether he thought that we were ready, because I've gotten pings from other people who have similar concerns, and he is quote extremely confident that we can pull this off. Which
I'm confident we can do it. I'm just confident that we need to buckle down right now and get to it.
I'm not entirely
I'm not entirely confident that, given the environment that we're in right now, that all of the people who need to buckle down and do it can indeed do so. I mean, we're in an environment where there are a million distractions, like my online grocery delivery stuff just completely blew up yesterday, and I spent half the day trying to sort out how I was going to do groceries. And for me, it's easy. I always work from home. I don't have kids. Other people, all of a sudden they're working from home in an environment that they're not used to working in, and they have little children running around in circles. Yeah, I don't know.
So
I have concerns. I have loads of concerns.
okay, so I 100% get that. Like I just made a supply run today and we're already rationing stuff here in Michigan. So like I'm already like vehemently aware multiple panic attacks into this like coronavirus deal. So I still have a level of confidence maybe slightly below Jeff's, but it's still very high that we can do this. Based off like the amount of time we have and the number of people that are just on this call, I feel like we could do it. If all these people on this call were willing to present content, you know, like I don't think there's so much content that we can't pre-record and present live with just 4 people, to be honest with you. Like I don't, having done this almost like at least the 101 side by myself last year to an extent, I feel like there's an enormous amount of like, yes, we could split this up and conquer this like capability here.
This makes me feel way more positive. I also had to say like I'm not operating at 100% because I just kind of all the chaos
like
outside.
I don't want to completely discount what you said, Don, because I 100% am with you on that. I know that this is hard but like I know I'm willing to present and record and stream and do everything that I can from here with the kid running around upstairs. So like I know that at least half of 101 can get done just by myself. So I need one more person to help me with 101 basically. And then, you know, maybe a couple more people to do 201 stuff. And then I think we're going to be okay. I know that we'll have probably 5 or 6 people to help us with this, right? Like other than on this call. So like with that number of people, I'm confident, even though they all can't be here right now. The getting who is doing what, like I think is important. But at this point, I think that like we need to have very dedicated people right now, right? Like if we don't have dedicated people by like Thursday, then we need to just consider, right? Like if anybody shows up, great, but this is what we have. Like Friday morning is probably all the people we're working with.
I'm happy also just to like facilitate a long session of just an open Zoom call where we're working on slides and people can drop in and out. Like if that well.
I'm down for that if I need to show up for that. Dawn, I mean, I feel like I've completely brushed you off, Dawn, but I just want to make sure that your concerns are addressed, right? Like I know you.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, ultimately, like I'm not the one developing content. This has little to no impact on me one way or the other. I just, you know, as one of the shadow leads, I'm just trying to make sure that we're doing the right thing. I know. Yeah, I'm raising questions because I do legitimately have concerns. And part of it is I actually, to be honest, I have fewer concerns about doing this new contributor workshop as a virtual event and more concerns about trying to do that at the same time that we're trying to do a virtual contributor summit content. That part actually worries me more, the other bit, and then trying to divide people's attention and do both at once has me concerned. My priority would be just to focus everyone on the new contributor workshop and forget the current contributor content, because we're going to have a contributor summit eventually. But
yeah, I mean, the problem is mostly contributor summits is like, hey, here's this new thing that we all need to get behind and start using kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
And that is not going to be new thing, and we all need to get behind it in 3 or 4 months, 5 months, whenever this is over. That momentum will be kind of lost. So there's a balance that's going to be struck. I don't know. I think we might have bitten off more than we can chew. Like we've broadcasted that we're going to do like an around the sun event. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be possible with like the people we have. But like I'm down for it, right? Like I'm willing to keep pressing for it until we say we can't do it anymore, if that makes sense.
100% on the same wavelength as you, Chris. I really, really want us to like push through. Even though I'm like a bit anxious and I'm like, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. I still like it would, for me, it would feel like it would be a big shame for us to have gone through a lot of effort, like for all these meetings and all that, and then come out and just say we're not going to do it. So I'm just, yeah, I really want this to go ahead. Yeah.
Like I have no problem pulling the plug on like years worth of work, right? Like I have no issues with like throwing away an 11-year Air Force career, right? Like I had to do that. Like it just happened, right? So that like I have no issues throwing away a couple months of work. I know other people would and do. So that's why like I'm pushing forward, but I'm not going to be the first one to stand up and say that we should pull the plug on this. I might be the first one to stand up and say, we need to pick a date for which we will say, yes or no, we are pulling the plug on this, Dawn, if that makes sense, right? Like, or pull the plug on certain parts of it.
Yeah, so I'm less concerned with the new contributor workshop, but I want to make sure, on the one hand, like Allison, you're the lead for it. I want to make sure that you're comfortable doing this in the time frame that we've said that we're going to do it. If we get to a point where we don't think we can do it, I mean, our options aren't do it right now or never do it. We could choose to do it at a slightly later date. If we don't think we're going to be ready in 2 weeks, then we need to make sure that we have this discussion before the comms go out about how we're doing all of this stuff. Because we could, if you legitimately think that we can be ready in 2 weeks, then let's just do it and try it and see what happens. If you feel like maybe it's not going to happen in 2 weeks, then maybe we should have a discussion about whether or not we delay it a few weeks. And I don't know what the right solution is. I kind of leave that up to you. Like I said, I'm kind of here answering questions. I want to make sure that we're ready. But
which is really good.
I'm not directly involved in actually doing any of this stuff, so I'm not the one to make the determination about whether or not we're ready.
Yeah, I think the determination of whether or not, like, I feel like this Friday, like, maybe is gonna be our whole we make the decision then kind of thing. Does that sound about right? I'm still figuring out all this.
Wait, we make
stuff.
the decision on what?
So there's a whole like we need to figure out who's going to be on board with this, and then we need to get the dates in. I feel like Friday might be a bit short-sighted. I don't know. What do you think, team?
Like we need to start doing stuff, right? Like if we haven't started saying you're doing X and you're starting to practice X and you're doing Y and you're starting to practice Y, like we're getting behind the power curve. If we like, I feel like at this point, Allison, like you should be reaching out directly to the people that you thought were going to be speaking, and like confirm yay or nay. And like if they can't answer the doodle, because doodles are confusing to people, right? Like if I saw a doodle for the first time and like I knew I didn't have to necessarily answer it, I would sidestep it because I wouldn't know what to do with it. So
and I think a lot of people assume that doodles are for meeting times. So I saw that doodle and I was like, I'm not important in the meetings. I'm not going to fill out the doodle.
Right. Like I saw it and I was like, is there anything here for me to do? Oh wait, streaming, yes. So yeah, like there's like if you had a short list of people, Allison, like you need to go direct to them at this point and say, are you in or out? And like
I'd be
short list solidified by Friday, I would say.
Okay. I think
I'd be sending Slack messages. I'd be sending Slack messages to people today.
Like I would even go further than that. I would say Slack, email, DMs on Twitter, the whole 9 yards, right? Like we're 2 weeks away. We need to go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's on a post-it note that I'm putting on my monitor for tomorrow morning.
Cool. And if you need me to reach out to people, like send me the list and I'll do it. Right? Like I'm happy to help you in any way I can.
I will probably take you up on that offer.
Sweet.
Too,
Yeah,
Chris.
like if you need me to assist you, I am on board now. Right? Like, yeah.
We are a team.
Where are you physically in the world right now, Allison?
I'm in New Zealand till June.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna be going to London next week, but my flight got cancelled. And
Shocking.
so I'm now
As
just,
did pretty much all of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Delta grounded a third of its fleet on Monday. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the point where like right now I can't go home if I want to. Like I mean I live here in the UK, but all my family's in the US and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're stuck. Sorry.
I'm stuck.
mm.
Yep.
Just it was like, I'm moving 3 days
I
later.
know, that is so sad.
Mm.
Sorry. I'm sorry that's happening to you.
It's okay. But on a brighter note, we're gonna be doing new contributor workshop. My energy levels, I'm keeping them quite high for like 2 a.m. But, yeah.
Jeez. All right.
Is there anything else we need to discuss right now?
I mean, no, I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah, I think like Chris said, we need to figure out exactly who's doing what and when, and we need to make sure that we have enough people to do this before the comms go out.
mm-hmm.
And when are the comms going out? That was a little confusing in the last call. Does anybody remember? Chris, do you remember?
Spreadsheet somewhere. I got to find the spreadsheet. Hang on. Well, that could be like I'll find you in Slack later kind of thing at this point. But it's Amanda and George would know. So
Yeah.
let me just ask George. I'll ask George. Let's see. When are NCW comms going out?
Yeah, I found the blog post where they're talking about it, but it doesn't have the date that it's supposed to go out.
Yeah, no, I think dates are fuzzy still, which is not like, yeah, everybody got really distracted, which is totally acceptable and understood. But now it's like, okay, this is the state we're in, and can we get through it in this state? Don't know.
I guess, yeah, we'll look back on when are the comms coming out.
Yeah, yeah, I'll get an answer for that, and I'll put it in the Slack later. How about that?
Cool.
Beans. I think we've covered everything for now. We've yeah, we will chase up the people presenting, and I will probably take you up on your offer about that, Chris, on chasing people up, because I think there's quite a bit of people there. Yeah. So yeah, that concludes our meeting for today. Thank you very much for coming, everyone.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep your heads up
Bye.
out there, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.